45-pound kickboxing bout. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the Dynamic Mortgage Concepts red corner. Please make welcome Hiram Martinez.
Fight fans, welcome to the Budweiser Event Center for Sparta Combat League 66. My name is J.R. Gordon. I'm joined by former kickboxing champion out of Iowa, Mr. Brent Bradley, now making his home in Colorado. We have a great show for you this evening. We are going to have 10 fights total. We're starting it off with the kickboxing fight. We have a professional main event, 3 titles on the line. It's going to be a great show, and we are right now welcoming our first set of fighters to the ring, Mr. Hiram Martinez. My mic's going overhead now. One. 1. All right, some technical difficulties. I want to thank everybody for joining us on Facebook. And Brent, it's your first time behind the mic. You've been in the ring a whole lot. You've done MMA, you've done Muay Thai. Which makes you more nervous, talking or fighting?
I'd have to say fighting, probably.
Okay, good answer.
I don't think you're going to punch me in the head tonight. At least I hope not.
Take it up to Sean. He'll let us know our second fighter of the evening. We've got the entrance ramp. Woohoo! If nothing else, it's just a cool thing for the fighters to get amped up, being the center of attention right there for that moment, coming down the ramp.
It is fun for them, and it's actually fun for a lot of their fans. These guys are out here selling tickets and bringing in fans to watch them, and it's nice for family members and everybody like that to be able to see that happening.
Got our tail of the tape up on the screen right now. And Weese, the thing that stands out here is an 18-year-old stepping into the ring. A little bit of a height advantage for Weese, and these guys both making their debut. So, they're going to really bring it because they want to start their careers off the right way. I love watching debut fighters.
So do I, and it's always interesting to see, basically it's usually boils down to who comes out being the most composed. A lot of times with new fighters, you see some nerves, you see them coming out swinging for the fences. So, if these guys can kind of stay composed, I think they're going to put on a good show.
And you hear them talk about it a lot in the UFC or Bellator or the big shows. You get that adrenaline rush or that energy dump that happens. That happens in the debut fights a lot too.
Yeah, it does, and you just can't replicate that in training. It doesn't matter how hard you train.
It's now time to begin the elimination 145-pound kickboxing fighters first. Fighting out of the Dynamic Mortgage Concepts red corner. Making his kickboxing debut from Weese Training Gym in Fort Collins, Colorado. Please make welcome Hiram Martinez. And now, fighting out of the Blue Core Shooting Center blue corner, also making his kickboxing debut from Title Boxing in Fort Collins, Colorado, please make welcome Matthew the Boogeyman Weese. This elimination 145-pound kickboxing bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Referee Tom Johnson.
Do it now. Let's get out.
3 2-minute rounds gonna start us off this evening here at Sparta Combat League 66. 145-pound elimination, which means amateur kickboxing bout. We've got the Z's training gym fighter, Mr. Martinez, wearing the red gloves. And in the blue gloves, we have Mr. Matthew Weese. He's representing Title Boxing. Both these guys are Northern Colorado fighters, so basically they had to drive across the street to get to the venue tonight.
That is always nice when you don't have to drive very far. They don't have to worry about, resetting their time clock or anything like that. Coming out strong right off the bat, swinging for the fences.
Yeah, we talked about a debut fight coming out, just start winging those punches, but so far both of them throwing fairly well right down the center, both of them having a target, not just throwing punches for the sake of moving their hands. So that speaks well to the training that they've had. We see it so much more coming up now, even guys making their debut fights. There was such good training partners and coming out of such well-established gyms that you're seeing really nice technique, even if it is very early in their career.
Yeah, and both fighters so far have landed some good leg kicks. Martinez has really thrown out some super stiff jabs, which has been impressive. We'll see if they can keep this pace up. A lot of times fighters, they think it's just a 2-minute round. Well, in kickboxing, it's just constant movement.
And this is a kickboxing bout, not a Muay Thai bout, so you're not allowed to clinch your opponent. Can't wrap your hands around their neck, can't grab the body, and you're not allowed to throw any knees. So for some of our more educated fans that would be thinking that would have been a prime opportunity for a knee strike, well, it would have, except they did both throw knee strikes right there, and the referee didn't call rules infraction, so maybe we've been misinformed and possibly this is under modified Muay Thai rules.
That could be, and they have both thrown some knees. They're both actually working some good leg kicks in there too. It'll be interesting to see if this fight continues on, whose legs start to give out first.
Good left-right combination there, lands from Martinez, and again we see the knees come up and no warning, so we're going to go ahead and presume the knees are okay tonight. I like it.
Some good shots landed by Martinez, but I'm pretty impressed by Weese's chin. He didn't really get phased by those. He took the shots. He's still moving forward. Doesn't seem to be rocked.
Yeah, he's starting to turn his head just a little bit when he sees the punch coming, and he's also starting to favor that right leg a little bit, is Weese. So Martinez getting the effect that he wants with those leg kicks you were talking about. All right, so we're checking out the replay here. Fast and furious action. These guys come out looking to put a stamp on their debut fight, and I'm really happy with what I'm seeing out of both of these guys being debut fighters.
Yeah, it's been impressive, and Martinez has really landed some hard shots, threw some good knees in there, but I've been impressed with the composure on both guys. On Weese's side of things, I think he's got to make sure he regains his composure a little bit, stops being quite so flinchy when he sees those punches coming, and really just starts to fight like he was at the beginning of the round.
Flinchy, is that a word that you woke up hoping to use today? Word of the day calendar?
You bet it was.
Nice. Well done, sir. I want you to work in circumambulate, okay?
We'll work that in towards intermission.
All right, cage doors locked, round 2. Referee Tom Johnson, third in the cage. Brings these guys to the center, and Weese, who's on the receiving end of some hard kicks, looks to come out with a little payback, throwing some nice stiff kicks of his own. But again, he's trying to throw his technique while he's leaning away. You're either moving forward, throwing it, or you're not, and he's trying to do both.
Yeah, and Martinez looks very composed this round. He came out, immediately landed an overhand right, another stiff right hand there, and he's starting to check those leg kicks that Weese was throwing. I think Weese could be in a little bit of trouble.
I agree. Martinez starting to take control here. What we saw out of Weese is a little bit of a beginner mistake, starting to push forward with both hands. If both hands are forward, your opponent knows exactly where everything is. He can choose to go to the body. He can choose to go to the head. So I think Weese basically, he's just feeling those techniques now. And we've got a cut over the right eye of Weese.
Yeah, and in that last flurry, Weese is really just trying to turn it into a street fight. And that's what typically happens when fighters get a little rattled and they start to get tired. They start winging punches, hoping that something's going to land. And when you've got a fighter as composed as Martinez is right now, you're just not going to catch him with that.
With all that having been said, Weese still keeping his stance solid, still mainly keeping his hands up, so showing the judges and the referee that he still wants to be in this fight. just being out-techniqued a bit. And there, he's staggered a little bit. Elimination fight. Referee's going to step in and take a look at that cut there.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to send him over to the doctor. And, you know, I know fans a lot of times when they, you know, stop fights for things like this, they don't really know why or they get upset. And it is kind of dangerous, especially when you've got a cut over that eyebrow, that blood runs straight down into your eye. Makes it hard to see. You can't protect yourself. So that was a good call.
Yeah, obscures your vision. Doc Alex, literally the best in the business. He's one of the few fight physicians that I know that actually has MMA experience under his belt. So he knows what it's like to be in the cage. Says if he's going to be making decisions about whether or not to let these fights go for these guys, he needs to know what it's like to be in there. So that's a doctor that puts it out there for the fighters.
And that's always nice to see. Doc says let them go. They're coming back out to start swinging again. And I am impressed with Weese's composure. I mean, you know, he's really stuck in there, still eating those leg kicks, but returning everything he's got.
Oh, that cut is pretty wide. We can see it starting to open up a bit there. So round's about to end here, and we're going to see if the doc comes in, takes another look at it.
That was an impressive second round.
I'm sorry. So we can see on the replay here, round 2, Martinez starting to take advantage of things a little bit, keeping his composure, really staying strong with his techniques, but not going for a flurry that's going to drain him of energy and give Weese a chance to come back just because of fatigue.
Yeah, and he has stayed very technically sound, hasn't wasted a lot of energy, isn't wasting his movement.
Excuse me, Brad, that's going to be it. The referee's waving it off. It's going to be ruled as a technical knockout. Let me give the fans a little something here. Little education, I guess. Quite often you hear people say it was a doctor's stoppage. Technically, there's no such thing as a doctor's stoppage. The doctor is hired by the promotion, so if he was to stop the fight, it could be showing favoritism. So the doctor advises the referee what he thinks should be done, and the referee decides from there. But I will say I've never seen a referee go against what the doctor decided. So it's a doctor stoppage.
JR dropping some knowledge bombs on us tonight.
So, yeah, like you talked about, that cut, just too wide, obscuring the vision, draining down into the eyes. And what the doctor's basically looking for is anything that's going to happen in there where if the fight was to continue, the fighter would suffer some damage that could be permanent. And obviously nobody wants that. So, you know, go home, get some stitches, heal up, or hopefully get some stitches and then go home. Heal up, come back, fight another day.
Yeah, and it was an impressive first fight for both fighters. I was impressed with Weese's heart. You know, a lot of guys, when they have a cut like that, that kind of gets into your head. You know, they almost stop themselves. He didn't do that, but a great debut for Hiram Martinez. He did it the right way. He said he's been training for almost 2 years before this fight.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever, and chicks dig scars. So Weese gets to go home with the scar. And nice story about his fight debut.
And he doesn't have to make up a story about the scar either. He has a true story.
Get the fighters to the center here, and then we'll take it up to Sean. He'll give us the official time. Like I said, it will be ruled a referee stoppage, which is a TKO. And we had that midway through round 2.
Stop to this fight, declaring you winner by TKO, Hiram Martinez. It is Sean in the cage with Hiram. First time kickboxing, how'd it feel?
Felt great. Felt really, really good.
Was there any nerves early on? Did you have to get in your groove a little bit? It looked like the pace was a little more ferocious early on, then you got into your game a little bit more.
Yeah. I wanted to pace myself a little bit, but my foot started hurting a little bit after the first round, so I had to change it up a little bit.
Makes sense, man. What's up next for you? Sticking with kickboxing?
Anything really.
Congratulations on that first victory. I'm sure there's some people you want to thank.
Yeah, my family and my coaches for sure. My gym is amazing.
Congratulations once again. Give it up once again for your winner, Hiram Martinez. Back with fight number 2 in a moment.